It's even funnier if he's lying about this because so many people like Menendez. You want to know what's really funny? They're Cubans in positions of power, like Bob Menendez, for example, that literally lie about having their families' possessions confiscated by the Fidel Castro regime.
John Deere, are you helping pay for the sexual transitions of children? This is Harley Davidson.
John Deere?
It's time for them to be exposed.
The conservative activist has been taking on corporations over what he calls their woke policies. And he's been having a lot of success.
All right, y'all, we've got another massive win to report. Toyota has just sent this email out to their employees and dealerships. Walmart has decided on making some changes.
Since last summer, Starbucks has claimed responsibility for over a dozen public companies dialing back their diversity efforts.
I think Starbucks activism definitely lends some strength to the go woke, go broke sentiment that you hear from some on the right.
Your wallet is a weapon. You do have a voice in this.
To learn about his activism and which companies are his newest targets, the Wall Street Journal visited Starbucks to get a never-before-seen look at his work behind the scenes.
All right, guys. Hey, this is Robbie Starbuck. We're on the set where I typically do my TV hits. Right now, I'm about to go on to do a hit for TBN.
Welcome back to Stat Back Tonight. We're talking to filmmaker, activist, and host of the Robbie Starbuck Show, Robbie Starbuck. Why would these companies do this?
Starbuck works on his crusade against diversity, equity, and inclusion, or DEI programs, from a studio in his home outside of Nashville.
A lot of this is predicated on what happened in 2020. So after George Floyd, what happened was executives got put in this position where they were incredibly fearful of being framed as racist.
Today, Starbuck is best known for his activism, but his venture into conservative politics is a relatively recent endeavor.
Shining like a flashlight.
In a previous life, Starbuck directed music videos in Hollywood for big names like Snoop Dogg and Megadeth.
My journey from the entertainment industry to today, it started in many ways as a father seeing it come into my kids' schools, this ideology that has permeated corporate America now. A lot of people describe it as wokeness. And my kid comes home and she says, Dad, they had this person come to the school and they talked about white privilege. And at the time, I'd never heard of the term white privilege. So I look it up and I do research on the person that they had come in. And I find they're just a total radical Marxist.
Starbuck's politics are rooted in his family's history.
God, I hate these people so much, dude. There's just so much. I have so much disdain in my heart. We celebrate stupidity. We celebrate idiocy. We celebrate incompetence. We celebrate a clear-cut lack of critical thinking. Like, all this guy does is sit around and complain that, like, John Deere made him want to suck a penis, dude. And honestly, it is wild to me that this is the peak of modern conservatism now. Vivek was right. No. I'm just saying there's something severely wrong about American society. And I think it's done as a way to defend capitalism, okay? I think this is deliberately crafted in a way to keep you preoccupied with the silliest, most nonsensical bullshit you can be preoccupied with. As long as it does not offend the pre-existing hierarchies. You can get away with being as stupid as you want to be, as long as you successfully distract the broad majorities of the American population with your idiocy. And you'll even get a Wall Street Journal article written about you. Like, that's what's so crazy about this. Like, why is the Wall Street Journal doing an article on this guy? Like, they're hailing him as a successful champion, a hero, an activist. Like, that makes no sense.
He says his family fled Cuba in 1965 after their ranch was confiscated by the Castro regime.
My family, they lost everything to communism, and I see this ideology as sort of a modern form of communism. I don't think there's a polite way to say it. I raised hell over it.
There it is. Of course, dude. God damn. It's even funnier if he's lying about this because so many people like Menendez. You want to know what's really funny? They're Cubans in positions of power, like Bob Menendez, for example, that literally lie about having their families' possessions confiscated by the Fidel Castro regime. When you look at their entry point into the country, and they actually fled the Batista regime. Okay? They literally lie. Like, Bob Menendez lies. If you recall, when he was under investigation for getting gold bars delivered to him to, make this one singular company that he works with in Egypt, the singular halal meat distributor in America. He turned around and he said, oh, but it's in my culture as a Cuban to like hide wealth this way. This is how we escaped the Fidel Castro reign with my family. We hid our wealth in gold bars and we trafficked it into the United States of America. And then people looked it up and they were like, but dude, you fled the Batista regime. Your coming into the United States of America predates the Cuban Revolution. So many people that have like fled under Batista will just legitimately lie and say it was actually the communism and in the Cuban Revolution that caused them to flee.
You know, and I was really the first parent to speak up. And me being able to do it from a lens of being a minority myself made it a little more awkward for, you know, the faculty there who were mostly, you know, from a certain subset of the.
You misspoke. You said he fled Batista. No, I didn't misspeak. They lie and say they fled Fidel Castro and communism when they actually fled Batista. But hold on, what is this?
Made it a little more, and I was a modern form of communism. I don't think there's a polite way to say it. I raised hell over it, you know, and I was really the first parent to speak up. And me being able to do it from a lens of being a minority myself made it a little more awkward for, you know, the faculty there who were mostly, you know, from a certain.
Absolutely zero people think you're a minority, dog. Like, what do you mean it made the wokes awkward because I'm so Cuban? Is that what your argument is? There are Italian people that are infinitely more not white than you, my man, and they're white too still, and so am I. My parents and family Cuban are hooked on this crazy radical Cuban YouTuber who does news. When I tell you all Cubans who live in America watch this guy, it is crazy. What's the name? What's the name of the YouTuber? If you say Destiny, I'm banning you. Okay, no time for memes right now. Find me the guy. Yeah, this guy's like this guy's the whitest Cuban man on the planet.
Certain subset of the left where they didn't have that same ability, but they thought that they had the wisdom to speak for all minorities, right?
All right, y'all, you're gonna want to see this.
Last summer, Starbucks began his first corporate campaign, targeting the agricultural equipment chain Tractor Supply Company.
We're gonna expose it all the craziness that they have done that their customers have no clue about.
You know, every day we were dropping a new piece of information about how they had.
You said every day you get closer to understanding land reform in China? No, every day. I'll take it one step further. I understand Stalinist purges, okay? Do you understand me? Like, fuck land reform. When I see reactionaries like this, I'm like, oh, I get why. I get why people can become incredibly paranoid and so angry and so resentful, especially if you have like a little bit of that authoritarian dog in you, dude. Oh my God. Holy moly. Like, I just... Like, imagine coming out of World War II, trying to consistently concede to the demands being made by the West while being very skeptical of their intentions, being very worried about it, trying to maintain a reconstruction period for your country that was eviscerated, 20 million dead, okay, mostly, predominantly young men too. And then you got a Robbie Starbuck type being like, hey, Stalin, I don't like any of the implementation I don't like the way that you're redistributing and reallocating grain supplies. I would be like, all right, you're dead. Like, I'm literally killing you now. That's what, like, and it's not the right thing to do. I understand that. But also simultaneously, I understand how someone could be pushed to that moment of weakness. Okay? Like, it's not appropriate. Make no mistake. I don't think it's the right thing to do. But given the human condition, given the nature, given the material circumstances of post-World War II USSR and the efforts to rebuild it, while constantly being strung on a tightrope against American empire and American initiatives that are actively and desperately trying to fight against the spread of Soviet-style communism around the world. This is the guy. Wait, he's live right now.
Johnny!
Cubanos por el
Ay,
mundo.
por tu madre. Bueno, nada, Jorge, tú cantas muy bien.
What is this guy? I can't speak Spanish. Better video for an introduction.
Now, from CBS News Miami, this is Facing South.
Bro, I don't know if this guy's got motion like that. He's got 12K people watching him.
Communist agenda on our people. And Alex Otaola is here with us today, and I will just point out, even though you did fairly well speaking English, you did well speaking English, I know that you're more comfortable, you understand English pretty well, but you're more comfortable.
Oh my God, this shit is racist as hell, bro. What is happening? Bro, what is the local news guy saying?
You said speaking in Spanish, so your translator is here, and so we'll be using him as well to translate the interview. But if you're comfortable speaking in English, do so. Otherwise, we'll make it work with the translator.
La campaña pretende hacerlo diferente.
The campaign intends to do this differently.
Por eso prefiero hablar español.
And that's why I rather speak Spanish.
Okay, so let's sort of start. I always like to ask a candidate running, why are you running? What is it why do you want to be mayor of Miami-Dade County?
Yo he decidido saltar a la política tras la exigencia de los propios seguidores. La gente quiere cambios en Miami-Dade. La gente está cansada del establishment establecido, de los políticos que mienten cada vez los votos.
I started in politics as a demand from the people. People would like to have some changes in Miami-Dade. They are tired about the establishment and about the politicians that lie in order to get votes.
Okay, so I wanna just sort of pick up.
It's kind of like Baba and not speaking English on principle. Yeah, I do respect it, except he's incredibly reactionary. Tired of Stalinist communism in Miami-Dade. Yeah.
It's sort of strayed from the values of their consumers. And at the time, a lot of people were still of the mindset, there's no way you're going to get this company to change things. They're worth billions and billions of dollars. You're one guy.
3 weeks later, Tractor Supply caved. The company said in a statement that they would retire its DEI goals, stop sponsoring pride festivals, and no permit brand campaign, non-profit policies when it comes to LGBT workers. Tractor Supply and the Human Rights Campaign declined to comment on the story.
So these are all the statements from companies that we have given to changing background.
I like that this guy is like a serial nuisance. Like, it's pretty funny. He just annoys people. He annoys companies that are making stupid ass like marketing, like that are making stupid marketing decisions to be like, oh, here at John Deere Tractor, we value our neurodivergent minor, Vemper non-binary tractor operators. And then this guy like has an aneurysm when he reads that and immediately gets to fucking dialing. Okay? Immediately. It's just like Mr. Too much time on his hands. That's what this is. And then of course the companies are like, yeah, we didn't give a fuck about this gay shit anyway. Yeah, okay, you got us. Oops. This isn't that related, but I hate this ponytail.
Foreman, owner of Jack Daniels, Lowe's.
Starbucks has gone after over a dozen public companies, each of which has since announced retreats from their DEI.
Like Black & Decker. Hey, John Deere, your founder actually killed my father in the Cuban Revolution. Stop with all that gay shit.
Policies, according to Starbucks.
Caterpillar, Harley Davidson, John Deere, and the one that started it all, Tractor Supply.
Starbucks' impact has been really significant so far. Companies have rolled back policies. They are worried about a social media attack by him. And this is on top of already mounting pressure from shareholder initiatives to litigation around DEI policies.
Starbucks shares his findings with its followers on X and Instagram. His posts about Tractor Supply were forwarded and posted so often that the name of the company started trending on X.
Social media is very important for Starbucks' success. And rather than a more private forum like a shareholder proposal or a litigation, this is very public, and companies, I think, are thinking through the fact that they will need to react.
To date, Starbucks says the most challenging campaign was Harley Davidson.
It wasn't hard from the context that I thought we couldn't change them. It was hard from the context of I knew how damaging this was in the process, and I couldn't.
Next time the Wall Street Journal is making a video on Grums, I know. It's so funny that the mainstream media, I mean, Wall Street Journal is already pretty right-wing, but they don't care about like DEI initiatives or anything like that. They just care about money. But yeah, this is the equivalent of doing a video on Grums to be like, this guy tackled wokeness in video game developers.
Couldn't believe that they were willing to continue down this path of essentially lighting money on fire and slapping their existing customer base in the face.
To the CEO of Harley Davidson, I know you're watching this video. No more donations to woke causes. No more donations.
Why are companies scared of 20K likes and 1 day of trending? Because their commitment to like woke is just marketing anyway. They do it because they don't want people to yell at them. That's it. so they can just like keep exploiting the American labor force to the best of their ability. So when someone, you know, makes a big fuss on the opposite direction, then they go, oops, sorry, my bad. They don't care if there is enough momentum and enough motion to do good PR by supporting Black Lives Matter or whatever, then they'll do that. If there's no longer any interest in supporting Black Lives Matter, and if there is like at least some motion in the anti-woke crowd and soothing their interest, then they'll do that.
To pride parades, that parade section.
I've told you a few times, but I know him personally. He was asking Alexandria's video guy and got outed for some charges, so we had to leave the scene. 2016, almost a week after the election, he was on this shit. Fuck him heavily. There's more to him that sucks. What is this? Tom Morello. Deal. My assumption was wrong. I still think your communist views are disgusting, but at least you're not voting for a warmonger. Also, Fidel Castro stole everything from my family and of cattle ranchers, so I appreciate your apology for calling me a hero. Gracias. Apology accepted. Your cattle rancher, fascist, death squad, Batista, apologist, family, crybaby problems are perhaps a conversation for another time, but nice pivot. Wow. I guess Tom Morello is raging for the machine again. The machine of being pro-Fidel Castro in the United States of America. We're never getting a pansexual Harley Davidson shirt? Yeah, sorry. There's no pansexual visibility with Harley Davidson.
Sexuality to children, just make motorcycles, period.
Starbucks' posts about Harley Davidson were also amplified by billionaire Elon Musk.
We did an analysis of impressions and found that it was upward of 1 billion impressions via all of our Harley Davidson stories that had occurred and all of the influencers who made videos and things like that. So anybody who knows the ad world knows companies pay enormous amounts of money to get 1 billion impressions on something. This is not the 1 billion impressions you wanted.
Harley Davidson did not respond to a request for comment. Starbucks' activism appears to the world in his social media blitzes, but his campaigns are based on his own small team's painstaking weeks-long investigations.
It's always predicated off of whistleblower testimony or them bringing forward evidence, things along those lines. We examine that and then we dig deeper and do an open source investigation where we're looking at things that are public but that most people never look at, like sustainability reports and things like that. We collect that all together and build a real portrait of how an ideology may have shaped or taken over a company.
When the Wall Street Journal visited Starbucks, he was working on a campaign for the automaker Nissan.
This document I have in front of me is the 2023 Nissan DEI report. It's titled Accelerating Allyship. And the reason that we're looking at this is because oftentimes inside these you find different threads to pull about exactly what these companies are doing. So on this form, they say we define DEI as, and they've got equity listed, and it says recognizing that each person has different circumstances and allocating the resources and opportunities needed to reach an equal outcome. The horror of it is that it sounds so similar to equality that people get tricked into believing that they should accept equity. But equity, in fact, is something that seeks to strip excellence and really everything that makes you special and individual away from you.
All right, y'all, I've got amazing news once again. Another company is dropping woke policies. Today, it is Nissan.
Notably, Nissan decided to roll back its DEI policies before Starbucks went public with his investigation.
When we approached Nissan with one of our findings and the story we were thinking about putting out, Nissan was ready to listen right away. And now we're very proud to be able to bring you these changes.
In response to a request for comment, Nissan wrote, "For nearly 4 decades, our commitment to respect and inclusion has been rooted in our values, shaped an environment where each of our team members can contribute at work, and, ultimately, contributed to the success of our business." Starbucks says he is mostly focused on companies that have a conservative customer base.
You have to have a strategy to first start with the companies that depend on the right-wing consumer. Once you start to shift those, you're starting to shift the psychology of the country. And in doing so, you start to be able to move a little bit further away from being so vastly populated by right-wing consumers. So that
this guy is so consumer-brained. Oh my God. He literally thinks that, oh my God, I hate this so much. Oh yeah, once you shift John Deere away from LGBT initiatives, then you'll shift the American population. It just everything that Americans care about revolves around burger and the consumption of burger. Oh my God, it's so stupid. Look, every single one of these corporations, especially due to in the age of corporate consolidation, every single one of these corporations are operating on like minuscule profit margins. They're constantly looking to maintain efficiency, and they thought for some time that these like fake initiatives to say that they love gay people or whatever was going to cause people to buy their products more. Okay, that's it. That's the only reason why they did it. And I've long maintained the position that it's better for companies to not do these like pro-LGBT initiatives and then drop it like a bad habit the moment that there's anyone that's like against it, the moment that anyone like trends on Twitter for 24 hours, then because it's worse overall when they drop that kind of stuff because these guys get a W out of it, making it seem as though there's no appetite for this kind of thing anyway. If you're a small business and you're owned and operated by your, if you're a private business and you're owned and operated by a family and you have genuine ideological convictions, then yeah, it's fine. Go ahead. Okay. What? He quote tweeted you as well. I don't think it's healthy for a nation to be held hostage with the hallucinations of a rabbit cult that lives in an entirely separate reality. Agreed. Something has to be done about mainstream media and their brainwashing of so many people. Thankfully, Trump won, so we can have... Oh, this guy follows me. Like, Ben & Jerry's a great example of this, right? Obviously, Ben & Jerry, while they're still owned by like a larger conglomerate, have a genuinely held opinion and they're willing to fight for it. And they're willing to like eat away at their profits, as a matter of fact. Or they're willing to take a hit when it comes to standing by their convictions on Israel. Okay? Not every company wants to do that. Many companies are just terrified. Many companies are terrified of putting out anything, really, any political statement whatsoever. And it's really annoying. It's really annoying when companies like that just, throw out this like purely aesthetic campaign about how they're pro-gay now or whatever, only to drop it at the first moment of feedback. It sucks. You said Apple is the only exception. Apple opposes investor calls to end his DEI efforts. We strive to create a culture of belonging. Yeah, I mean, because he's gay. Tim Apple's gay. So I guess they are, they're like, yeah, we're not going to do that because it doesn't matter. Why is EDI wrong, though? Can marginalized people not get crumbs of semblance of justice, even if it's just an illusion? What? Why is DEI wrong? I'm not saying DEI is wrong. I'm just saying exactly what it is, which is a marketing initiative. No company says, oh, we don't want to hire the best people. We want to hire gay people. Okay? That's not a real thing. Everyone wants to hire the best people. This is idiotic. Okay? The notion that the notion that companies are just saying no to the best possible candidates for a position because they're not gay enough or not brown enough is idiotic. It's not real. It's stupid. Okay? That's not a real thing. DEI initiatives are, at best, marketing initiatives. Real diversity initiatives, on the other hand, that companies apply, oftentimes are also applied for pro-capitalist interest, like having a more diverse board of executives, for example, leads to having better returns on your overall investments, having higher profit margins year over year. So that's the reason why they want to have more diverse people in general. Okay? Because, the American population is diverse. So it's better to have at least, a group of people that understand the market that you're producing to. I mean, the market that you're trying to sell to. DEI overall is either, simply put, a marketing initiative or, at the very least, a way to expand the labor pool. Okay? It just simply means don't overlook non-white and non-male applicants because you're so used to simply hiring white men. That's it. But in any case, it's ultimately inconsequential.
That's how you eventually have seen us take on Toyota and Boeing and Walmart.
Starbucks activism is controversial and has attracted plenty of critics, some of whom have labeled his views racist and homophobic.
Proponents of DEI policies believe that this is good for the workforce, this is good for customers, and it is good potentially for companies' financials as well.
So for my critics who claim that DEI improves anything at work, I think there's really only one answer I can give them, and it's that I hope they enjoyed reading the book, How to Lie with Statistics, because that's all they're doing.
For companies that he has yet to target, Starbucks has a message.
We're reasonable people. We're not here to shake companies down. Don't be afraid to reach out and ask questions. I will offer advice for free to any of these executives at major companies and tell them what needs to change. You don't need to be a story to change.